Okay, so I just copied and pasted the problem here so we could stay on one user interface here. So you can see this one is a medium problem. It was pretty challenging. There were a couple different mechanisms involved, but given a string S, sort in decreasing order based on the frequency of the characters. The frequency of a character is the number of times it appears in the string, and then return the sorted string. If there are multiple answers, return any of them. So just to give you some context, you can see that if the input is tree, you want to return it sorted in order of which letters occur the most. So since E appears twice, while R and T both appear once, the two E's would come first, the R would come next, the T would come after that. And I believe this would even work if you had the two E's, the T, and then the R as well.
Yeah, it says that on that last line.
Yeah. I didn't really think too much about it because multiple different outputs will work as long as the E's come first. And then let's just say the string coming in is CCCAAA. You want the output to be AAA triple C. Both C and A appear 3 times, so both CCCAAA and AAACCC are valid answers. So either or. Note that CACACA is incorrect, obviously, as the same characters must be together. And then, for example 3, you can see the string equals capital A, lowercase b, lowercase b. And in this instance right here, they're saying the output is lowercase b because that happens the most frequently. Then either A could come next, but the bigger A came, and then the lowercase a came after that. So explanation, BBAA is also a valid answer, like I just said, but capital A, lowercase b is incorrect. Note that capital A and lowercase a are treated as two different characters because I believe they're using ASCII when you're doing the sort. And then just to cover the constraints, s.length, so the length of the string is going to be at least one character long, and it's going to be less than or equal to 10 to the 5th power times 5. S consists of uppercase and lowercase English letters and digits. Actually, on my first iteration of the solution, I wrote a line of code for an edge case that didn't really exist because I checked out the constraints later. So I wrote if s dot length equals 0 or um, s equals just a string with a space, just return null or return right away. But you don't really have to worry about because there's going to be at least one character in the string, so you could always just return that one character. I wrote out some pseudocode here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create live share. I'm going to let people come into this Visual Studio Code. So if you do not have live share, just go to View, Extensions, type in live share, and you know what? I'm going to start adding this in the details of the event so I don't have to explain it every time and people come prepared. But if you just type live share into the extensions, it's the first one, click install. It takes 1 second. It's super small, but it's super powerful. So let me just post that in the chat. And I'll give everybody a couple minutes just to pop into the Visual Studio Code. I like everybody to get their hands dirty and actually type a line of code. Even if you're not familiar with JavaScript, it'd be awesome if you type a line of code, go for it, and just to get that experience and start building that muscle memory if you're not coding every single day, or even if you are, still to get that muscle memory. I'm going to hide that for now. Looks like Kevin's in. In the beginning, I wrote this, which didn't make sense. Okay, we
Right.
got Anatush. Yeah, if s dot length equals 0, because they tell you that the length of s is going to be at least 1. So I kind of just didn't even need that.
Can you have a zero length string? Would that just be undefined?
You can have, yeah, I mean, you could have an empty string like s equals that right there.
Hmm.
You could also have that, but I believe that would be a length of 1.
Yeah.
All right, we got Anatush and Kevin. We got 1, 2. I don't know if Henrik said he was going to pop in to say hi, so I don't know if he's going to actually pop into the code editor, but I'll wait
No,
for.
I don't know.
All
I'm
right,
just
cool.
watching, and I might head
All right.
out. By the way, I'll just DC. But yeah, pleasure seeing y'all.
Yeah, definitely, man. Nice chatting with you. I'll talk to you soon.
I'll pop onto the editor too.
Okay. Kevin, you have to solve this one by yourself tonight. Nobody can help you. Oh, there we go. Got one more. We're just waiting on one more. We are waiting on Silverleafs. Are you hopping in or are you going to follow along? All right. Anatush, what do we do first, bro? Putting you on the spot.
So maybe we can find the frequency of each letter in the string.
Exactly. Exactly. How do you want to do that?
Uh, so maybe we can use a hash map for that, or maybe we can loop through it, loop through the string, or maybe that is also another string and
Use
find
a
the frequency of each.
use a hash map to store the frequency of each character in the string.
Yes, yes.
All right, cool, cool. That's a good step right there. I think that will work. All right, so how are we going to have to create a hash map right here? So we could use the map constructor function, or we could just use an object literal for that right there. But what's the next step? So after we have the object, how are we going to store the value of the characters inside of the hash map? What do you think, Silverleafs? What do you think, Tenchi?
So you want to know how we're gonna store like values?
Yes, yeah.
So I guess we could put a key into the hash map. The key would be like the character, whatever
Yep.
Unicode character it is, right? And then like we check for whether or not it exists inside of the map. If it doesn't exist, then we initiate it. Like we put it in there with like a value of 1. And if it does, we just increment.
Okay. So you want to basically loop through the string, targeting each character if the character exists as a property. Actually, you could do that in one line. Store it or increment it by 1, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Increment it by 1. If it does not exist, create it and initialize it to 1. Yeah, that works. So you want to keep track of the frequency of characters with integers. That's correct?
Yeah, with integers, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So after we loop through that string, we should have a hash map with keys and values. The keys will represent each character in the string, and the values will represent the frequency of each one of those characters in the string. And then, how do we get the frequency of the characters out of the hash map and return it as a new string? Kevin.
So maybe we can sort the frequencies maybe in decreasing order.
In descending order?
Yes.
Sort the...
Uh,
So,
We can probably sort the map actually, right? So we can sort the map using like a comparator function or something like that, right?
yeah, I was going to
So
say in C# they call a map a dictionary, and there's a way to. It doesn't. It's kind of hard to explain. What you do is you create an index, and then
yeah.
you use the index as a reference, and it gives you the functionality of a sort, but it never disturbs the actual native. You know, it remembers the native order that things are put into the dictionary.
Can you sort a map in JavaScript?
Me, I don't know.
I think you should be able to, right? If I mean, I don't use JavaScript, but it seems to be pretty similar to Java, which admittedly I also haven't used in a while. So I think you can though.
Okay, cool. The solution I came up with, I actually, I believe I converted it to an array and sorted it. But let's do that. Let's try to sort the hash map so the characters with the greatest frequency come first, right?
Yeah.
And then what?
And then if we sort the hash map, then we should be able to just iterate over the hash map in order, and then like
Right.
we
Spit
can
out the characters.
exactly, right? And like maybe use like the little multiplication function or something like that if that works in JavaScript.
Huh?
So you can do like plus a times 4 and it'll add like 4 copies of a to like some solution string or something like that.
There's a repeat function.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's something I used in the beginning, but then I cut the repeat out, and then I ended up using object.valueSort.join, which was like a one-liner. But okay, so iterate over the hash map, storing, or where you're basically building the string, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, building an output string.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. And then last but not least, we're returning the result or answer, whatever you want to call it. All right, cool. So we can use a hash map or a object literal. I would say we could just call it, this is long, but character tracker. I don't know. I try to name things correctly, but naming I feel like is the hardest thing. All right,
Oh,
who wants to
my
write line 9?
hair's standing up again because in C# you cannot sort an object.
Yeah, I was gonna ask actually, if you have an object, will the sort work on the object? Because it might be a little different.
I don't
Well,
believe so.
JavaScript, it turns everything in an array, it seems like.
Yeah, an array is an object, but an object is not an array. So I believe sort is an array method, and the sort method would not work on an object. But we could try it,
For sure.
and then we could just modify. All right, so loop through the string targeting each character. Who wants to write that line?
I try.
Do it up. You're in here, right? Yeah, go ahead. You can see. Anyone in here can edit it, so go ahead.
That is so wild. Somebody's typing on a keyboard in India and we're looking at it.
I know, right? Here, you know what I'm gonna do too, just to, I know this is a small one, but okay.
Yep.
All right. Let's put this code in right here. Yeah, I know, isn't that so cool? Delete that too.
And,
All right.
you know, I'll be in the old folks home telling kids, I remember when there was no internet. And they'll go, don't be silly. There was always an internet.
I know, right? That's funny. All right, so if it does not exist, create it and initialize it to 1. Kev, that's all you, bro. I know you're a JavaScript master.
Oh, I'm in the wrong app. Master, no. Matter of fact, if I can't even type today. Would I say not character tracker? Oh. S sub I is
Yeah, that looks like it'll
is
work.
that it?
Looks about right.
And then we is it push or something like that? I can't remember.
I believe you can just
I'm gonna
target the property
do
that does not
tracker.
exist and just add 1 to it.
Yes. It's the same thing. S sub I equals 1.
Yeah, that should work.
Cool. Kind of on the ugly side, but oh yeah, the old semicolon.
Else, it either exists or it doesn't exist. So if it does not exist, if it does exist, I mean, character tracker SI. That should work
Yeah.
since we are tracking it by integer. There was one solution that I worked out where I concatenated the string as I built a hash map. So like with example 1, when I encountered the t, I created a property called t, and I created its value is a string of t. And then same thing with r, and then e, the e property was a string of e, but then when the second e came, I just concatenated the second e on with the first e. So instead of keeping track by integer, I kept track by the actual like snippet of characters that I was going to use, you know? That was just one other option. All right, so we should have a hash map right here. Let's go ahead and I believe we're done with this for loop right here. Let's make sure it's coming out correctly. So we have node problem.js. Oh. How often do I do this? That should console log. All right, cool. That's exactly what we want it to look like. Perfect. All right, so I guess now we could try sorting the hash map so the character with the greatest frequency comes out first. I know if you are sorting an array, you would use a helper function. You'd pass a helper function into the sort method, and then you're basically comparing two different values. So if you want it to be in descending order, A would represent the first value, B would represent the second value. If you want it to come up in descending order, you would do B minus A. So you would actually want the response to be a positive response. That would switch them. And if you want them to show up in ascending order, you would do A minus B.
Okay, I can try this out. That
Yeah.
kind of makes sense. I'm saying B. A would give you a positive result.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
maybe that's also worth testing too, though.
Yeah, no, because you actually have it as an array, so the sort method should work on it. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Entries, character entries function, or
Not iterable.
So is there
okay.
a way to, I know for a map you can list these iterably, but for like an object, is there a way to do that?
That's a good question. You could convert it to a map if you want.
Okay, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And then how would changing this to map change how we actually update the map? Or would this still work?
I don't think it matters. I think it's the same.
Is it? Okay.
I
I think
mean,
it is.
I believe this will still work right here, but most people who are updating, like setting or getting values for the map, they're using the set and the get methods, at least from what I've seen.
Set and get.
Yeah.
So would this be something more like, let's see, I guess you could say something like character tracker. Yeah, how exactly do you use set?
I think you would do. Oops, sorry. The first, so you would do dot set. The first argument that you pass in would be the actual property, and then the
Okay,
second argument would be
the value.
the
Yeah.
value.
Cool, cool,
Key
cool.
key value, we call that in C#.
And so here it'd be something like dot set, we'd give a value, and then maybe this would be something like character tracker dot, is it get also?
Yep.
Okay, so specify, and then just add 1 to it, something like this maybe.
Yeah, that looks good.
We need to be a tiny bit more efficient just to do a plus.
Yeah, so it's not. There's no. The E is not being represented 2 times in there either.
Okay, so it didn't, yeah, so this line here, not, would this necessarily work for contains? I think it did work actually though, right? Yeah, but I probably check this all the
Yeah.
time. How do you check membership with map? Is there a contains function or something like that?
I haven't used the contains function on a map. Are you saying this character tracker might not work? This
Yeah, I think
expression
it
might
might
not work?
look something like this. Maybe,
Yeah, in C# you can say object.key exists, and it gives you a boolean.
yeah. So I think in JavaScript it might be .has for map. And I think that's what was going on there. That's why it wasn't tracking everything, because the membership was showing up as like everything is new. So it was just
Yeah,
overriding, yeah.
yeah.
Let's see. Yep.
That worked, but I'm not really convinced that the sort worked the way that I thought it would.
No, it
2
looks
E's,
like
1 R, 1 T.
yeah, but it looks like functions for some reason.
That should just be, is that
That
how
may
map
just be
comes
the way
out?
it, that's
Yeah.
just the way it displays it, I think.
Mm,
Or is that going to
I
be
don't.
something completely different?
I don't think so. Because look, if we do let new map equals new map, and then because we could go ahead and just do like new map dot set, and we could do the same thing. Let's just do it with a couple different values, and then we'll look at what the map looks like, and it doesn't usually look like that, I don't believe. All right. Huh. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. I guess you guys are right. Cool.
And then for this, I think our map was coming out in reverse order. So there's like 2 things I think we could do. We could either iterate over our quote unquote sorted character tracker in reverse, or we could just kind of like swap up the A and B here. And that should work. Either one probably is a good way to do it.
Well, it looks like the map that
Um,
you created, the E is coming out first.
Oh, I think that's your map. The second map should be mine, and I think mine was coming out in reverse order, it looked like.
right.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yep.
I have a dim memory of doing a sort like this where I use the ASCII values.
I think we have to also consider the uppercase and lowercase letters also.
Say that one more time.
So we also have to consider the uppercase and lowercase letters, which are different, right? Because of ASCII
Right.
values. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. In ASCII, the uppercase they have lower values.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're sorting based on the integer, the frequency of the letter, whether
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you're right.
So
Those are just
uppercase or
straight up
lowercase.
integers.
Yeah. At least if you're targeting
Well, that yeah,
A1 and
then there's
B1,
just a
yeah.
matter of the order then, important.
Yeah. I hope that sort works the way that I thought it would. I'm not entirely sure if it did or not.
Let's rerun it.
Because it seems like I would think that it would have reversed
Uh,
the E to be like the first thing if I swapped the A and B, but it seems like that didn't happen. And if I swap B and A and then try to get it to run again,
what's this right here?
like that. Yeah, if I swap it like that, I would have expected that you'd see some difference in the way
Yeah,
that it was set up, but it seems like neither one actually changes anything.
yeah. Let's see. Um, so you're taking the character tracker, you're running entries, so you're getting back, you're getting back an array with this right here, right?
Yeah, that should get back an array of like I think you probably don't call them tuples, but like smaller arrays, right?
Yeah,
And then for each piece in there, you're saying like, okay, then now sort this array, right? And for each like um smaller array, take elements A, B, right? And then or yeah, like A, B was just like a comparator between like, okay, like
yep,
object one, object two, object three, whatever, right? And then
yep,
take the first index, which should be the value, right? It should be a KV pair. Um, and then do the sort.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it should be. And then, why are you creating a new map right here, though?
Just to chuck it back into a map. So then we can iterate over the map. But I guess it doesn't really matter at that point, right? Like we could keep it as an array too,
If
right? So
we
we could
kept
try
it
that
as
out.
an array, then it would be an array where you would still have it'd be a matrix basically, like arrays within an array, right? Still?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, yeah, so at that point, we just have to build the string. Let's see what we're getting sorted. Okay. Okay, there we go.
Okay, cool. No, then that definitely works. Then at that
Yeah.
case, it's just like,
We
okay,
can
now
just
go over it
step
and
through
make the
that.
string.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I believe we could technically use the repeat method on this too, right? Because we could use something like target.
Repeat once is not very efficient, but yeah, it'll work.
Well, we're targeting the character would go right here, and then it'd be repeat, and the number would be right here. So basically, we'd be putting we'd map over this array. So let's say sorted character tracker map, and then for each element is going to be that internal array,
Hmm.
right? And then we actually would need to create the string to add it up though. So let's call it answer, and that could be an empty string. And then if we did something like answer plus equals um, L 0, which would target the character, right? Dot repeat L1. That should target the frequency, right?
Yep.
For some reason. So yeah, mapping over.
Something's not balanced.
There we go. There we go.
There we go.
And then the answer should be correct, I think.
I think that does it.
Who wants to put the finishing touches on it? Yeah. All right, cool. Let's console.log this. Let me add the other test cases as well, just so we have a couple to compare it up against. Let's see. Triple C, triple A. And
They
like
say
that,
they
right?
could throw, what was it, 5 times 10 to the something characters, and then they give you little test cases like this.
I know, right? 5. Yeah, that's like what, 10,000 times 5? So like 50,000? Something of that nature. So does everything look good here? Let's test
Yeah, I
it
think
out.
so.
Yeah,
Yep, those look familiar.
yeah, that looks good. All right, let's go to LeetCode and actually test it out with all the other ones. Come on. I saw there was only 6, so I was like, let's choose one that I would never do. That was the solution I did.
Oh, okay.
All right. Moment of truth. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. That has some good memory space too. Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, better than the one I submitted. I think the one I submitted this morning was 33 and 33%. So this one's not too shabby. Pretty good. Good job, everybody. That was awesome.
Nice. No, that was a fun one to work there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I dabbled a little bit in sorts when I first started coding, like bubble sort and the other ones just to kind of like understand the concepts behind it, but I never really had to use them at all. Never really had to use any sorting algorithms. I mean, JavaScript has sort built right into it, you know.
I've done a couple of cases